Hey folks, it's Professor Nagel. We are working through Murach C Exercise 14.1, create a customer maintenance app that uses inheritance. And I have it opened up, and the very first step is we're modifying the customer class. So open that up, and it says modify getDisplayText method. That's down here. So it's overridable. So all we need to do there is add the virtual keyword to getDisplayText. So public virtual string getDisplayText. Now this is overridable when we have child classes to the customer parent class. We can define a new getDisplayText that does more than just returns this. And that's it there. So next up, add a new class called wholesale customer. So project add class. And this is called wholesale customer. Should we spell it right? Wholesale customer. And this class inherits the customer class. So class wholesale customer. Now this is inherited from customer. I'm guessing this internal, we're going to make this public like we've done before. I'm sure there's a setting that allows us to not have to change that every time. Okay, this class should have a string property named company. So I like to put comments in there so we know what all these things are. And we have public string company. And this is going to use the default get and set. And the default value is empty. And we need a default constructor. We're actually going to have two constructors here, so let's start with just the public wholesale customer. And our other constructor will accept 4 parameters, first name, last name, email, and company, to initialize the class properties. This constructor should call the base class constructor. All right, so public wholesale customer. This is going to take a string first name, string last name, string email. And remember, those 3 properties, that should be lowercase email, are all part of the customer class. First name, last name, email. All right, there's nothing in the wholesale customer that supports these, but because wholesale customer is a child of customer, that's where we're going to use those. And finally, because it's a wholesale customer, we have string company. And this is going to call the base constructor, and to that, it will take in first name, last name, email. Okay, so let me just try to break this up a little bit here for you. I wonder where I can put some new lines so that this still works. I think that should be okay. So you can see this, you can put it on one line. I broke it up just so you can see it all on the screen. So when we create a new wholesale customer and we give it 4 arguments, we are automatically going to call the base class with first name, last name, email, because that supports for customer first name, last name, email. That's going to call this constructor. But now company is not set. So we need to take company and set it equal to the company argument that's coming in here. Finally, this class should override getDisplayText. So public override string getDisplayText. And this is going to return, to add the company name in parentheses to the end of the display string. So getDisplayText, by default, returns first name, last name, comma, email. And what we want to do is we want to return that plus, in parentheses, we want to return the company property. So this is going to be first name, space, last name, comma, email, and then we have another space, and then in parentheses, the company name, and this closes those parentheses. And all of that was step 3. Make sure we save everything. And then step 4 is adding another class named retail customer. So project, add class, retail customer. Again, let's make this public. And this inherits the customer class. We do have properties. We're going to have constructors. Yeah, we're going to have a method. It's going to be very similar to wholesale customer. So our property is home phone. Public string home phone. Default accessors. And the default value is empty. Constructor, we have public retail customer. And public retail customer, that takes in string first name, string last name, string email, string home phone. And it calls the base class first name, last name, email, and then it sets home phone. Oops, and look, red squiggly here because I have a typo on email. I spelled it wrong up here, so it couldn't be passed to the base class. Now we're good. So when you make a new retail customer with first name, last name, email, home phone, it calls the base class constructor, and then it sets home phone. And then get display text is going to be overridden. We're going to get the display text, and this time we're adding to it PH colon and then the home phone. And it's plus signs, not ampersands. Okay, so now we took customer and we made that our base class, and then we made 2 child classes off of their wholesale customer and retail customer. Now we need to use this thing. So when we add a customer, we have the add customer form open. And this is what our form looks like right now. And it's all set for wholesale. But if I switch this to retail, this text box here, which is named what? TXT company or phone. So yeah, that text box is going to contain the company name for a wholesale customer, or it's going to contain the phone number for a retail customer. So when this changes, we want to change this label. And this label is called LBL company or phone. So let's take this checkbox or this radio button here, double click on it. And then we can say if, and I don't know, RB retail. If this thing is checked, then LBL company or phone dot text is equal to home phone. Let me just see what the colons are like here. Yep. Otherwise, LBL company or phone dot text is equal to company. So I'm not sure if we can run this now and check it out. We're going to try. Add a customer. And I don't expect much to work, but there we go. That switched to home phone. Now it's company. Home phone, company. So as we switch these, that label changes. That was step 5. Step 6, update the isValid method to validate the company or home phone based on the customer type selected. Is valid, blah, 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 is valid. Okay, so right here, this is going to be step 6, and obviously leave better comments than I'm doing. I'm going to say if, and again, I forgot the name of this thing, RB retail. So if RB retail is checked, we want to make sure that the person entered TXT company or phone, and the label for this thing is going to be home phone. Either way, we need to check to see if this is present. What's going to change is whether we call this thing home phone or, why am I rewriting this? Copy paste. Or if we call this company. So if it's checked as a retail customer, we're going to make sure that this field is filled in. And if it isn't, we're going to include in the error message that home phone needs to be filled in because they're a retail customer. Otherwise, they're wholesale, and that field represents their company name. So even this is, you saw me copy and paste this. Even that might be a little bit too much copy paste for me. I'm going to show you a way we can do this in one line. All right. So I'm still going to take this. I'm going to copy this. This is going to be step 6 in one line. So the text box doesn't change. All that changes is the label for it, right? So instead of just company, I'm going to look at rbretail.checked. And if that's checked, I want the value home phone. Otherwise, I want the value company. So if this is true, use this value. Otherwise, use that value. Right? Now we have that all in one line, and it just fits your validation rules a little bit smoother. And we can test that out. So I just hit save. Company is required. Yep, because I didn't enter a company. If I say retail, home phone is required. All right, neat little trick there. Question mark colon operator. Now update the event handler for the click event of the save button. Oh, where is that? Here we go. Click event of the save button. So it creates a new customer of the appropriate type using the data entered by the user. So instead of just making a customer, we're going to say if rbretail.checked, this is a retail customer. Otherwise, this must be a wholesale customer. All right, and for a retail customer, I'm going to say customer equals new retail customer, and that takes in txt first name dot text dot trim. Right, we want to trim all our input, and I'm going to put this on multiple lines so we can see it all. Last name, email, and then txt company or phone dot text dot trim, and then otherwise it must be a wholesale customer. So customer is equal to new wholesale customer, and nothing really changes. It's still the same argument, still the same order. That fourth argument is still company name or phone, whatever that input is. All right, it's just how we're going to display it, either as or save it, either as part of a wholesale customer or part as a retail customer. And then, yeah, let's make sure this works. So, Chester Tester is a wholesale customer, and there's the get display text, first name, last name, comma, email. For wholesale customers, in parentheses, we have the wholesale customer name. And if we add a retail customer, I'm going to be a retail customer. I think my numlock was turned on, off. There we go. And for retail customers, it's first name, last name, comma, email. That doesn't change because that's part of the base class, but it adds PH and then the phone number. If you're curious, our customer's TXT looks like this. My students, you'll find that in your project directory. Other students, remember, it's saved in that, whatever that file somewhere on your C drive is. So that was it. That was 14-1. Zip it, submit it. We'll see you next time.